reply back on the 31st saying, please send it. Yeah, I
All
got
right,
it.
guys, I just hit record. There we go. And so welcome to our weekly Bible study. I am so excited. I actually have so much to share today that I'm kind of going to be all over the place. But it's so funny. When I was listening today and reading, I just love, this sounds crazy, but if you've been a coach long enough or you've been on our team long enough, you'll get it. But I love how our team of coaches and like what we do for a living, and then also our faith and our relationship with the Lord, like I feel like it really is one on the way that we learn, the way that we soak it all up, the way that we apply it. You know, she talks constantly about being brave, and I know like in my business it's constantly, and you guys are coaches, about being brave and doing it for the right reasons, doing it for your dreams and your destiny. And so it's so cool as I was listening today. And when I listen, you guys, here's for those of you that may want to know how I come up with some of this stuff. You can always tell when you follow a coach that feeds their mind because their posts kind of look like it. But I take notes when I listen because I feel like the world needs to hear what it says. So what I'll do is I'll take those notes, obviously read them to you guys, but I also try to bring that into my daily posts, and so that people are inspired not by just Rhonda, but through Jesus through me, right? So I kind of took a lot of notes I want to share with you guys. So I am in a different chapter in the book than I am in the Audible. But before I dive into that, I wanted to share a little bit about, hey, Miss Karen, good to see you, girl. I just put you on mute. I want to share a little bit about my post today. It was actually so fun. I Audible today with her, talked about the change of seasons in our life and how they create challenges, and how I actually made that post today. I have 2 challenge groups that I run, and the new one, in my opinion, is way too quiet, way too quiet. And the reason I gave a little bit of tough love this morning is I get it. Like it's so interesting every year. You know, I've been doing this for 6 years now. You start to really notice when people's minds struggle. And it always is in 2 major areas: fall, going into fall, and then right after Christmas, going into New Year's. There's those 2 seasons where people just like fall really hard and they don't ask for help and they don't know what to do. And so I wanted to kind of call you guys all out. If you didn't comment on the post, or if you want to comment on this video, I want to do it because you are brave. And I really know that you are brave. So no matter if it's your first time your kids are going to school, if it's your first time you're back at work, whatever it might be, know that this season creates the person that you become. So use our group, lean on us, share. I have, it was so funny. I know I always talk about, hey, Miss Karen, good to see ya. I always talk about how it's Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to get back on track and I'm not eating any more bad food again. And last night I had Pop-Tarts and a candy bar. How does that happen? How does that happen? I'll tell you how that happens. It's called life and PMS. So I want to let you guys know I struggle too. Like this time of year, I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. And I don't even like Pop-Tarts, but it's the closest damn thing to cake in my house. So of course I'm going to eat it, right? So I want to share with you guys, you're going to have those moments, but use our group to ask questions. Use our group to say, you know, I'm really struggling with like this meal or this time frame in your life. You know it. You know where it's at, and I want you to be brave and ask for help. The other thing is, I have recognized, and I share in the group every week, but I have recognized every single week, because I've been at this a while, that Thursdays are the day that I fall. I fall hard. So I don't know what yesterday was about. That was just PMS. That just happens once a month. But I know that every single month, hey, Jennifer, or every week, Thursdays are that day. And I started looking at it and preparing for it more, because think about it, you guys, we go meal prepping on, you know, Sunday or Monday, and then by Thursday, all of your fruits and vegetables are probably gone or gone bad in some way, right? So I want you to recognize those moments and refill your fridge and share how you're doing and dive in. I've got a lot about relationships I want to share today, but I'm going to dive right into the Bible study and share my thoughts, and then have you guys also kind of share some areas of your life as well. Karen says, I don't want to keep moving this. I'm going to take the video off. That is perfect, Karen. That is perfect. So I'm going to read to you guys two different areas. On page, where am I at here? On page 56, it says day 24. It says dream big. Now listen, if you're not on day 24 and you're only on day like 2, don't even worry, okay? I want us all to he just wants us to start. He doesn't care what damn day you're on. He just wants you to need him and want him and use him, okay? So it says day 24, it says dream big. And a while Jesus was at Bethany in the house of Simon and Leper, I'm never going to say these words right, as he was reclining at a table. A woman came with a flask basically of ornament or of pure nard, very costly, and she broke the flask and poured it over his head. There were some who said to themselves, why was the ornament wasted like that? For this ornament could have been sold for more than $300, basically dollars, and given to the poor. And they scowled at her. But Jesus said, leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. And I want to read a little bit of what she shared here. It says, ever since 3rd grade, my big dream was to teach school. I am bossy by nature. Being a teacher is a great out for the bossy people like me. Midway through my senior year of University of Georgia, right before I became my student teaching experience, my campus pastor, Bob, came to her with an opportunity. Wesley allows students to stay on after their senior years as unpaid interns, and Bob wanted me to be the women's ministry. My big dream of teaching was in view, and all I had to do was fill out the right contract application and try to find a teaching job. On the other hand, interning sounded awesome. Many of my good friends were interning, including my best friend and roommate. I'm gonna go to this part here right below. It says, but it was unpaid, and to intern at Wesley, I had to raise $15,000. On a Saturday morning before Christmas break, I sat in the comfy chair and read Mark 14:3-6. The woman with a flask of ornament gave everything she had to Jesus. Her heart, her sacrifice, and 1 year wages. I knew I was being asked to push pause on my big dream, to give up a year's wage as offering to Jesus to serve college students and to minister to Jesus himself. What I now see as God's biggest dream for my life, I did end up being a school teacher for 5 years after that. It still amazes me how God dreams for me was so much greater than one I'd been planning all along. Dream big, be brave enough, believe that as much as you could want, God could give you. We are meant to make big impacts on the planet, bigger than we could ever dream up or our own. It says in the yellow part, it says, God's dream for me was so much greater than one I've been planning all along. It says below, be brave, list 1 to 2 really big dreams you have for your life. So I actually listed 2. I have one more thing I want to read to you guys. And I read that because I think that we just don't dream big enough. We really, really don't. We honestly, we say God's our everything, but then we don't hand everything over to him. We say that we know he's going to give us all of these things bigger than we say, but yet we don't act like it. So I have been writing on all of these because I really feel writing and seeing it is so important. And my husband laughs. My dream is to retire him as he just took a new position in his job. He's like, okay, babe, you do that so I can golf all day long. So one of my big dreams is to retire him. Another one of my big dreams is obviously I would love to not have car payments or to have house payments or any of that and be able to help to that degree in my family. So for me, those are the 2 things I wrote down. I want to read on page 58 as well, a little bit of it, and then kind of share some notes from my Audible today. It says dream in pieces, and I love this because this really spoke to me. I think that we try to just, I want to create financial freedom, or I want to do this, or I want to have, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to lose 50, when that 50 or 20 or financial freedom doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't happen in a day. So we have to dream in pieces, as long with also walking with the Lord in pieces. So on page 58, it says, the Lord who rescues me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of his Philistine. 1 Samuel 17:37 says, God knows me. He knows you. He knows we need to dream in pieces because we would be too scared of the whole puzzle. Had I known I'd be an author or speaker back when I was in college, students to be an elementary school teacher, I probably would have crawled under a covers and strayed there for a year or 5. I'm here today because of the little steps and the brave moments dotted throughout my writing career that have grown into this. And then I want to read a little bit of it. She says, I think of King David way back when he was a kid checking on his brothers in the battle against the Philistines. He found that everyone was scared of Goliath, this beast of a man who was fighting for the other army. Young David and shepherd told King Saul he would go against Goliath. Everyone was stunned because David was a kid. And the rest of the Israelite army, adult men, were afraid of him. David's response shows us in the importance of the days. Basically, David says, but David said, Saul, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion of a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When I turned on him, I seized it by its hair, stuck it, and killed it. You served his killed both the lion and the bear. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna get this last part right here, and I want to explain a little bit about this. David and the shepherd, the boy, found a lion and a bear and rescued a sheep. He never killed the lion in preparation for the bear. He didn't kill the bear in preparation for Goliath. He just chose to be brave at every turn, to do his job and protect the sheep. And as the challenges grew in scope, so did David's belief in the ways God had unqualified created him. More importantly, David believed in who God is, and that God had a role for him to play that will require courage. The same is true for me and you. So a lot of reading, and I just wanted to share with you guys, if you were to have told me 6 years ago that I would be sharing the kind of things that I share on social media, or that I would be running a Bible study, I would have never started. Never. I would have never started this because that would have scared me so bad. I would have went and worked at Sephora the rest of my life and never made any impact. I want to share with you guys, every step that you take on your fitness journey, your walk with the Lord, is creating you into the person that you're going to be. When I was listening today to the Audible, how she talked about, and I'm going to share a little bit of reading on that, how every job that we have has a purpose and a place, or whatever season that we're going through in our life. And I think about, and I don't know if any of you guys know this story, it's super short, I won't say it really long, but when I first started my first job being a makeup artist at Sephora, it was my first job interview in over 15 years. I was literally terrified. And I remember sitting in front of this amazing man, Mark, and I already knew I didn't get the job. I was like, I didn't get the job. Who's going to hire a mom that literally has lost everything, can't even make her rent, lost her cars, her houses. I can't put presents under the tree for my kids. And my kids just went to school, and I couldn't buy them new backpacks, and we had to go shopping at secondhand stores. So my confidence was this big. And I remember when he goes, when can you start? I literally started crying like in the middle of an interview. And I'm thinking, you talking to me? Like, why do you want me? But I want to share with you guys, in that moment, I now know, this many years later, I needed to build confidence in that moment, in that job, in that being uncomfortable, and be brave in that moment to be the person I am today. But you've got to start somewhere. You've got to do it. I want to read my notes to you guys really, really quick, and then have you guys share. And then let's see what I wrote here. It says, you have to be brave today and work hard on a payoff you may not see right away. And that's why I talked to you about the Sephora thing. You guys, whether you're in coaching, whether you're trying to lose 50 pounds, whether you're waiting to hear about a job, whether you're waiting to get a statistic back on maybe somebody being sick or whatever it might be in your family, whatever, I want you guys to know that you may not see it right now, but he is watching to be if you're consistent. Same thing with your fitness journey. You want to lose the 50 pounds, you want to lose the 20, you want to have more energy, you want to have more confidence. It starts with him. Starts with him, and the payoff will happen. Be faithful. Find your call. Chapter 40, it says, work hard, you gain respect. It's not always fun, but whatever you're doing, work hard. Give more than you have and see what comes from it. In this coaching business, do you guys have any idea how much I've given before I received? I would say like the first year of my business, it was such a learning process to figure out who I was. And I didn't receive a whole lot in return, but I was consistent and I worked hard and I believed in it because it was something I was already going to do anyways. And I thought, I want to be a voice for those people that have been going through seasons of difficulty, right? Even though I couldn't share mine at the time. It says, God, I love this so much. And then I'm going to give Donna a chance to share because I know she's going to share. And I always look forward to sharing, you sharing, Donna. She actually talked today about calling up a friend and going and having coffee with them. And Donna, you were the first person that came to my mind. Isn't that funny? And the reason why is she said, make sure you have coffee or you chat with somebody that is 2 or 3 levels up from you. And I know with you being older and having this relationship with Christ, I look up to you for that. So I just want to share, you were the person that came and I was like, I want to go have coffee with Donna. So it says, God doesn't change. I want you guys to hear this. And I want you to write this down, or when you get to chapter 40, 41, I want you to write this down. This was so profound. It said, God doesn't change. Whatever change is coming, God never changes. We need that reminder. We need to know that he never changes. When our seasons change, we are not surprised. So when summer changes, right, into fall, when fall changes into winter, when winter changes into spring, we're not surprised. Don't be surprised by the change of seasons in your life, and have faith and courage and be brave that your Lord never changes either, right? You might, but he never changes. And that is so beautiful. That gives me I get excited when I heard that. She's like, you're going to see all these seasons and you're going to, you're not surprised when summer turns into fall, but then you act surprised when, if something happens in your life in a season that comes. But remember, God never changes. He doesn't have seasons. He never changes. How do you prepare? We talk with God and we ask and watch your heart change, but you have to ask him to help. So I wanted to share that with you guys. As I shared a post yesterday, and it gave me so much light and so much excitement. So this quote actually came through my phone. If you guys have downloaded that app that we talked about, it's called the Sprinkles of Jesus app. And throughout the day, they're obviously sometimes trying to sell things, but throughout the day, it'll give you little scriptures and little things to constantly bring you back to the Lord. So that way you can constantly be thinking about him, not just in your quiet time. And one of the ones that came through my phone yesterday says, do you know God allows people to talk about you in your lowest season so they can be excluded from your next season? Oh my God, I got so excited. I got so excited when that came through my phone because I was like, amen, Lord. Because I have so many people that do not like the things I'm sharing right now. And people close to me, people that I've been working with for years, and they don't understand how I am. I've changed, and I love it, but I'm not the same person I was 3 months ago. And I love the season that the Lord has me through right now. And that season is only going to get stronger and better. And not everybody's going to be a part of that. And that's actually okay. And it's an amazing place to be. So, all right, Miss Donna, you go ahead and share. I want to hear you share, girl. You always have something great to share.
Definitely right now. My speaker's just weird. Okay. Right now is a changing of the seasons, like from summer into fall.
Yes.
And if you notice, there's a lot of grasshoppers. And there's a lot of, well, in the month of October, you're going to notice a ton of butterflies. So it's a transformational stage. Like in between September and October, we actually have a place that's called Pacific Grove in October. If you go there, there's monarch butterflies all over the trees, like thousands upon thousands. And me and Megan went away into the mountains this past weekend, and there was grasshoppers everywhere. And so just like the changing of the season, like from summer is a harsh time of year. It's hot. Things are on fire. Things are burning. But sometimes the seed itself needs to have things around it burn, and you don't know what's germinating on the inside of it. So when you don't realize why things are being burned away from your life and why things are being removed, you just be patient, and you're in that place of, okay, Lord, what are you doing? And the transformation process is actually occurring. And you think about fall is completely the place where it's like intentional. You have to be consistent. The transformation is occurring, and it's a harvest. Like, think about grapes. Like, they're harvesting grapes. Who would have thought that the grapes would even survive through the heat? Because it's so hot. But this is the most abundant time where the bounty of the harvest is. So we just need to be prepared. And I think back when I was 6 months a nurse, I've been a nurse 31 years, and somebody saw in me, I was a leader, and I'm like, oh no, I stuttered. I was scared to death of people. I was so afraid to talk back to anybody because I would just start shaking inside because of my past. And so back then, they're like, you need to be a relief charge nurse, because we know that I see the leadership skills in you. It takes courage to lead, because I said, okay. And I remember shaking on the phone thinking I'd write it all out, what I was going to say to the doctor, and then they'd throw some twist in there. And now, 31 years later, I'm a supervisor and I'm leading people. And it's just amazing. So God puts people in your life for a reason and a season. And sometimes you need to let people go for them to flourish and for yourself to flourish.
Yeah, amen. One of the parts on chapter 40 today she talked about is she wanted to be a nurse more than anything, and that she was a waitress, and she's like, but glorify in that moment and be thankful and work hard while you're working towards that goal. And I think of when I was at Sephora, and I think about how they asked me to be the lead makeup artist, and I didn't even think I'd get the job. And then they wanted me to work full time and be a manager. And I was like, no. So yeah, Donna, I love that. And it does take time. We've got to be patient. We've got to go through those seasons. I remember some of my friendships with my little girls when they were little, and they were such great friendships with a lot of my girlfriends. And then my kids got older, and we moved a lot and stuff, and we're not really friends, and we've had like little battles back and forth. And it was interesting. Just last year, one of the studies we did made me really think about it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's okay that we're not that super close anymore. It was a season of life. And they were so amazing. We were amazing with each other at that time. It's not that we're not still friends, but that we're just not in that season anymore. And I think when you get to a place when you realize that, you have such freedom in your soul. Because I think we just want to be nurturers and love everybody and be like great with everybody. And it's just, it's okay not to be, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a season. So Donna, thank you so much for sharing that. And the same thing with our fitness journey and our relationship with our husbands and that type of thing. You know, it's a season that we go through, and we've got to work hard within those seasons. Does anybody else want to share a chapter or something from this week that spoke to them, or maybe something today that we've said on the page, or anything? It could be even actually off of none of this.
Yeah, I actually, if you don't mind, I would love to, as I'm just finishing up in the kitchen. So this week, I kind of had an aha moment, and I don't know if this is going to happen for anyone else, but I thought I would share it just because I thought it was important, because it's been something that I've been really not struggling with, but just questioning why the path of life that kind of I have gone on and taken has been this way. But, you know, when I was little, all I wanted to do was be, I wanted to be a hairdresser and a movie star. And, every little girl wants to, they see the stars in Hollywood, and back then it was a little different than it is now. But with my kid going off to college, we've been talking a lot about what do you want to be when you grow up, that type of thing. And I'm really, let me get right, it's lighter. Here we go. And I've always questioned not questioned, but wondered why I went to beauty school. Like first I went to college and I didn't like it, and I told my mom and dad, forget it. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to waste your money. This is not what I want to do. I want to go to beauty school. I want to do hair. I just would love the industry. And so I did that. But then I don't know, I've worked at that for a long, long time. And it was back in 2010 when I decided to go get my personal training license. But then I thought, why am I going to give up my whole career at the time that I had just for something different? Like all the time and the money that you put into something. But as she says, I think it was like in chapter 30, right around the 37, 8, 9, somewhere in there. Every job that you had have some sort of a common theme, and you need to find the common theme. And I thought to myself, okay, so it wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't and I've never thought it was a waste of time to do what I've done. But I wondered why, am I doing 100% of the right thing that I'm supposed to do now? And actually, that kind of gave me confirmation the other day that even though I went to school and I spent the money and I did hair and I still had that theme back then that I have now, is to help people feel good about themselves and help them change their lives. And it doesn't matter. It can be a small way or a big way. And I just thought that was so profound because I kept saying, God, I didn't waste it, but you know what I mean? Like, you just question where you're at and what you're doing right now. And so I'm like, you know what, that was that season then, and this is the season now. And maybe in another 20 years, it might be a different season for me. But for right now, I know I'm at the place where I'm supposed to be. Because even working at the gym 2 days a week, I'm like, well, I could just quit and do Beachbody full time. But then I'm thinking, maybe there's a reason that I'm there for the 2 days and trying to incorporate those people. I don't know, but I'm just saying the common theme that she talks about in the book and the your passions should meet, and so that therefore that you can help other people with both of them and tie it all together. It was just, I don't know, I was like, oh my gosh, really? Ding, ding, the light bulb goes on. So
I love that. And I think I've shared before with you guys, but I've been made fun of by people I truly love and adore, and people that are blood members that I really don't have a lot of talent. And I grew up in a family, y'all, they build houses and boats and cars from scratch. Like I can't do any of that stuff, right? And I can color hair and I can do makeup. And so it's interesting because, Karen, I think about what you share, and it makes me think a lot about myself, where I have me that I can share and I can change lives through just being me. And who would think by me starting to color my hair back in 1999, because I was not going to pay $250, I think they're crazy, that somehow that would lead to me being able to help other people? That's so crazy. Like or even being broke and needing Christmas presents under the tree and working 40 hours a week in addition to 2 other jobs at Sephora so that I could make $1,200 to put Christmas presents under the tree. Who would think that painting people's faces and making them feel good would allow me to be able to share that on social media? And so I think it's interesting, like all those platforms allows you to really bring all of your passions together, which is great. And it's actually one of the reasons I don't believe that being a Beachbody coach is for everybody. I do want to say that out loud. I truly don't believe it's for everybody, but I do love that it allows us to be who we are. And I love that it truly gives you a voice for who you are. And I know for me, Karen, I think the one thing, and I love what you shared, and I actually think you being a personal trainer and doing that, I actually think that there is a purpose for that. Same thing with me doing the makeup and stuff. I mean, God, the people that I touched in putting makeup on them, to this day, some of those people are customers and coaches of mine, and I've been able to help their daughters, and people come to Phoenix and they'll be like, hey, can you meet me at Sephora still from 7 years ago? It's like the craziest full circle thing.
Yeah.
And I think about that for myself, I have a platform that I can share Jesus, and there is not a lot of jobs that allows you to do that. And for me, oh my gosh, it's just like so amazing. And so I love that. I want you guys all to find your passion and find your purpose. And I know that a lot of us search the rest of our lives for it. It's not easy to find. I started this when I was 36 or whatever, 36, 37, 38, I don't even know. And I mean, that's almost 40 years of my life till it took me to figure out what I actually love and do. And I know that in 5 years, it'll look even different. So, and I'll look back and be like, God, I was just a baby then, and I didn't even know what I was talking about, right? So anybody else want to share? Karen, I'm so glad you shared that. I think it's important to recognize those seasons, and once you guys to visually see how God made those things happen in your life to create the person that you are today. And as things go through in your life, I want you guys to see his purpose and his reason behind that, or look for it if you don't know it. Karen, you want to share anything? The other Karen. Karen, let me unmute you real quick. Oh, I got you. Go ahead, Karen.
So sorry for the no makeup today. It's
so good.
hideous, but I'm owning it. So anyhow, you talk about how things happen kind of in sequence that you didn't expect. This last 2 weeks has been horrid. My dad has had a stroke, and I've been back and forth in California, and it's just been awful. But anyhow, somebody I used to date for a very short period of time, we stopped dating, but we remained friends. And I kept telling him, why are we still friends? How does this work? Now, he has a very strong faith, and he says, because it's supposed to work this way. And he has been one of the people that I have reached out to over the last 2 weeks, because unfortunately, his mother and stepfather passed away over the last year. And I feel like he understands kind of where I'm at this last week in particular. And I told him the other day, and I said, I think we're stuck with each other because you were brought into my life not to date, but to be this person that brought me closer to faith and to really kind of help me navigate through some of this, you know. And it's just it's amazing. He's dating somebody, which is fantastic, but it's just a great relationship. And it just shows that sometimes things don't make sense or why they land the way they do.
I love that, Karen. My situation isn't the same, but similar in that my fertility issues and, 8 years of trying for my babies, it brought me closer to Christ. And I always find, and we always hear this, right, ladies? In those darkest moments is when we find Christ. And, we don't necessarily want to yearn for those dark moments, but those dark moments do feel pretty amazing because we need them. We need him, and we're super close to him in those moments. So Karen, I'm so sorry about your dad. And isn't that interesting? I love how you're looking at like your guys' friendship, and you're kind of like, so this is what this is about, right? And it's been very, very strange how it's materialized that way, because things have I would say shockingly happened, but he comes back and says, no, it's not a shock. This is how it's supposed to be. So for me to not have as strong of a faith, it's interesting his influence on this. And so I'm grateful for the friendship, and I certainly know that you and I wouldn't even be friends either if it wasn't for all this. So right? Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, all of you guys, I know I can't see Jennifer. She's on the call, but she'll message me and she'll just be like, oh my God, girl, did you really just share that on social media? Because you're exactly like me. How do we live across the country from each other? I know Karen, you'll say the same thing too. And then Donna, when you said that, you and I talk back and forth and stuff. And isn't it amazing that we really can, through our brave, find our tribe and our people. And I know for me, I've shared this many times publicly, but I would be on medication. I would be maybe in a mental institution. Well, I don't even know. If I didn't have all of you guys, and I know that sounds crazy, but I've moved a lot of times, and it's interesting. And I have to be honest, I'm getting onto this next chapter with her, and it's talking me hard. I don't go out of my way to make friendships. I spend a lot of time on social media, and I feel like my cup is full with you guys. And so when here locally in town, all of my time is spent with my husband, and because that's what I want and that's what I chose to do. But she talked about today how you need to be brave and put yourself out there. And I've got this girls' night I'm planning out with you, Karen. I've got this really cool thing. We're going to go see Rachel House at the movies and stuff, and like have wine and go do that. But I still haven't done it when I get back from New York. But
you and I both, girl.
I know. But she says, why do people not do it? And you know why? It's scary. And it's a brave thing that you have to go do. And not that, I don't know that I'm just a super private person, but you need to be brave about going and meeting people in person, because I literally, my cup is full. I really don't feel like I've lacked. So with that being said, I feel so blessed to be having all of you guys a part of my life, because normally with all those moves and starting over constantly, I remember how lonely that felt, and I don't feel that sense of lonely anymore, which is fantastic. So, but I do need to probably touch people occasionally. And that's why I used to teach classes. And so Karen, maybe that's something that you need and why you're a personal trainer. I know for me, I know I need to go teach classes again, and maybe that's something that God will push me to do. So I wanted to talk really quickly about the love languages, and I want you guys to kind of share how it's going, how you are communicating with your spouse or your significant other doing it, or your coworkers. I know not everybody is married. I know we've got a couple people. I know I was telling my husband, he actually was telling me his company, a couple bosses actually will do this love language thing so that they actually know how to communicate with the people that they're spending the most amount of time with, and they can speak their language. And I was like, absolutely. Like, it is just such a great thing to do. So I want to hear some of the things you guys are doing. I kind of shared a little bit on Instagram stories today, that I don't want to hear excuses about your marriage not going well or things being hard, because everything in life is hard. Everything in life is hard, but it's a choice and it's a decision. And so you just have to make baby steps also with your marriage, just like you do on your fitness journey. I know right now, I have a little anxiety with all the things I have to do in the next 48 hours, but I still take the time to, my husband left town. I left notes in his suitcase, and he FaceTimed me last night, and he was like, look what I found. And, I want to still make my number one job my number one priority. The laundry can wait. The dishes can wait. Your marriage can't. If your marriage starts to fall, guess what? Your family starts to fall. Your career starts to fall. Your energy and attitude starts to change. I know for me, and I know it's not just me, but that one area of your life can affect everything in one split second. And so is it going to take work? You bet it's going to take work. Do you not always want to do it? Oh my God. Do you know, like, I literally came in my office before he left to go out of town, and I was like, okay, really quick. And I wrote this letter, and I put this bright pink lipstick on, and I kissed the paper, and I gave it to him and stuffed it in the suitcase. When he was like not looking, I was like, hey. And I put it in there, and there's so many, I could have got something else done in 15 minutes, but that right there is my number one priority. So all the rest of the stuff can be taken care of. So I want to kind of hear maybe how it's working for you guys. If you're struggling, kind of be real and share that. Maybe some things you've done. I know last week I shared my husband's love language is touch, and I hate it, but I still do it. And like, I'm rubbing his head and I'm rubbing his back, and I'm still doing it. And I'm like, God, I hate this, and I'm doing it because I love you, and I love you so much. And you need to wash your hair again, babe, because it smells. But I'm doing it because it's his love language. And you guys, I have to tell you, the reward is huge. He was just like, oh my gosh, babe, thank you. That changed my whole day. I'm like, okay, good. Now do mine. No, just kidding. So, all right, you guys share. Shirley, you have something to share. Donna, go ahead.
Well, my husband retired in May, and it has been a struggle. And we've been married 35 years.
He's home all the time, right?
He's home all the time. You see him walking in the background today. He's not home. He's fishing. So last week, I mean, it has been so hard. And today when I was reading, so I'm reading, remember the devotional, 5 Love Languages. It says, spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. Proverbs 18:13. And that's what my problem is. Like, I like quiet, and I don't want like noise in the background, the television, and he doesn't like to be told what to do. So all of a sudden, like he told me, go, don't manage me like you're managing your staff. So last week, so the Lord's been helping me with my mouth. That's my biggest issue. And so last week, Thursday, when I woke up in the morning, he said, good morning, sunshine. I was like, what happened to my husband? Maybe he's back. And then this weekend when we were away, Megan's mother-in-law, father-in-law, we went to their cabin. And so I made him a sandwich twice, and he looked at Megan and goes, your mother's never made me a sandwich. And then when we came back on Monday, he told me, he goes, you know, that's not like my favorite place to go. I just went because you want to go. And so normally I would have said, well, I've been going to the same place as you've been going for like 7 or 8 years, because we always went to the rib cook-off at Labor Day. But instead I said to him, I said, I want to thank you so much for going someplace that I wanted to go. And that it was really important to spend time with Megan and Mark and her mother-in-law, father-in-law, and to build friendships. And he said to me, which was interesting, he goes, when you go places, it's not necessarily about where you go or the people around you. I was like, woo! I was so happy, totally gone.
God, Donna, that's huge. That's huge. I had a lot of moments like that this week, and I had to suck it up with football starting. I know y'all love football. I'm sucking it up. I am sucking it up hard. I literally went to a freaking sports bar and sat there and watched the whole game with him with Tito's in my hand. Thank God it got me through it. And he literally, crazy, Donna, same story. This whole weekend, this weekend that just ended, because I guess it is, well, you know, because the holiday, he goes, wow, I had the most amazing weekend with you. Thank you so much. And he literally was like, hey, thanks for going there with me. That was really fun. I was like, okay, yes, it was so fun. No, anyways, no, I did actually have fun. I did actually have fun. But Donna, it's so funny what you said about you can't have noise in the background and it's got to be quiet. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't work or write a post or respond to you guys if the TV's going on in the background or the kids are like whatever and they're all having a conversation all around me. So I will have to a lot of times get up and leave the room and shut the door. And of course they all think I'm rude. And I'm like, no, I can't process motivation and inspiration with all of that going on, you know? And there were a couple times this last weekend, I literally was like, okay, suck it up, Rhonda, I can do this. And it was great. It was so amazing. And I found that Donna, like your husband, kind of, you know, just being extra super nice. Before my husband left town, he gets back tomorrow. And then I leave Friday morning super early for New York. And he goes, hey, I get back in town Thursday. Can we go on a quick date together? And we'll go somewhere else that we've never gone, just so that, you know, we don't know anybody and we can just focus on each other. And I was like, okay. I was like, that sounds really good. So it's interesting when we just bite our tongues and just speak their love language and maybe just listen more and just be more present in that moment. I don't know, I'm noticing a huge attitude change in my husband, but also in how our communication is. We're both not just so, well, like Donna, like you said, you'd be like, well, we always go to the places you want to. I mean, like I would literally say something like that, right? So I love that. Does anybody else want to share anything? This is real life. Like everybody like sees, y'all see the highlight reel on social media. This is real life.
I got to tell you this. It's so funny to hear you say this about football because I have 2 boys and I only grew up with a sister. My dad is a sports fanatic, so I kind of had sports on my whole life. But when I had 2 boys, I looked up at God one day and I said, you really have a funny sense of humor. Like they're all boy. Yes. And so I have had to learn to like football and I mean, I played sports, so it was a little different, but the whole thing about watching a sport that you don't like, or, you're not knowing you're not sure what's going on, you have to watch somebody play. Then it becomes a different story. Like with my kids, I wanted to see them play football. I wanted to understand it. So you have to find a connection there, because even when they were little, I was like, well, I know, like, okay, the touchdowns and the extra points, but I don't know all the rules.
Yeah.
So I had to learn to do that. And I wasn't the biggest football fan. I was like, oh, the game's on. All right, good. Go green or go pink or go whatever color they were. And so I kind of liked October because it was, the pink out and whatever. But you have to, I've just learned over the years to like it because they like it. Not necessarily I am not one of those crazy women, the diehard football women. I'm not that way, but I am that way for my kids. Wow. So I kind of had to turn it and twist it and go, I'm doing it because of them and they love it. And, I want to make sure that they know I'm into what they're doing. So if for what that helps, I don't know, but.
Definitely. It was funny. Years ago, I asked him to teach me more about it. And all I learned was after the 20-yard line, it got really exciting. So I only know after the 20-yard line. So my goal this year is to because I actually do want to learn more this time versus before it was like, okay, just since I'm going to sit here, let me just teach me a little. Now I actually kind of want to learn so that I might actually enjoy it a little bit more instead of just drinking. So definitely, Karen, my goal is to be able at the end of the season, look at you guys and be like, hey, did you see that? I don't even know what to say because I don't even think about it. I don't even have any words. Did you see that touchdown? That that somebody made. Oh wait, he retired. No, just kidding. No. Something to say and share. And it was interesting, just in this moment of me not grumbling about it and just enjoying it. We had so much fun. So it was really, really cool. So I hope you guys are utilizing it and diving into it, and just and the reason I share about not wanting to rub my husband or not wanting to always go to the sports bars, and you guys, I had fun rubbing him and I had fun going to the sports bar, but I want you guys to know it's not always easy. You don't always want to do it, but it's always worth it. And the reward on the other side, just like Jesus says in everything, is way greater and bigger than in that moment. So I know if there's something going on or you're having a hard time, it starts with you. Start with you, and then watch your heart and your mouth change, and then they will come as well. So, all right, you guys, so we will end today. Hopefully you guys got some great things. I want you guys to be brave, and whatever it is you're going through, I want you to turn to him in all things. And I want you guys to recognize that there's seasons of life. And I know right now, and that's why I really brought up today, I know that every year, this is a season that people struggle in. And I want you to know that we're watching and we're there for you, and we want you to ask for help. I want you to ask whatever it is that you need, that we are there for you, so you're not alone. I think a lot of times you might see in the groups people crushing it and seeing their results, and maybe you gained 5 pounds, or maybe you've only lost 5 inches. Please don't let that discourage you. They're in a different season. They're in a different walk. Their mindset might be slightly different, but that doesn't make you any less and doesn't make them any more special or greater than you, okay? All right, let's go ahead and end in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this amazing platform that all of us all over the country can just come together and just honor you and commit to being more brave, that brave, Lord, that you have already instilled into us. Lord, I pray that every single person going through this new season in our life, with our kids going back to school, with husbands retiring, with the seasons outside changing, that, Lord, we will recognize those moments and we will lean on you in those moments, not ourselves. Dear Lord, I please pray that every single person in this group this week, that you will put your arms and your hands around them and let them know that they are confident through everything they do only when they lean on you. That, Lord, if they're looking for that confidence and they're looking for that brave, you are that consistent when we are not. In your precious name, amen. All right, you guys, go out and change the world. And I will post the recording soon. Have an amazing day. Bye, everybody.